Folks, some feathers may be ruffled with today's episode of Dev Diary, the series where I try to make my own video games, because today we're letting YouTube decide on what game we do next. Well, really, I guess it's more Google's AI, which is like plastered everywhere these days, including the YouTube creator homepage. And fun fact, I always thought that the inspiration tab was just a rebrand of their old creator portal, but no, it's AI now, and Google uses that AI to generate suggestions for new videos. So surely an AI system built by Google with all the information that it's gathered over the decades will be able to tell me exactly what YouTube, its own video service, is looking for, like what the community is currently interested in watching, right? Well, I let Google's inspiration system generate 3 sets of ideas, and in those 15 ideas, most were either suggestions on advertisements or simply retrospectives on my most popular videos. In other words, the pickings were slim. Wait, hold on. What is that? Is that a Dragon Quest slime? Surely that can't be legal. Anyway, there are really only a few that we could go with, unless you'd rather me talk about the emotional toll of coding. No? Okay then. Well, let's make some games based on YouTube's suggestions. Simulating a game's lifespan in Fast Forward. In this game, the player controls a little frog tasked with eating a certain amount of flies per round. The world and fly placements are randomly generated to keep the experience varied. At the top left of the screen is a simulation of the years passing by, and as the years go on, eventually the player is prompted with new modern, amenities. Like bringing an old school game back with new school flavors, like updates, and always online connections. And eventually, when hitting the year 2010, the game is officially taken off the servers and will no longer work, prompting the player to try again, yet never able to play their beloved old frog eats flies classic ever again. What if my game predicted the future? Roots? In our second game, it's a one-button game. With a question of any sort in mind, and by pressing spacebar, the player can tilt this amazingly crafted low-poly frog head and peer into its cranium, to which the frog will answer their question with either a yes, no, maybe, ask again later, and in solidarity with the YouTube suggestion itself, there is a very low chance that the frog will answer with a simple root. Root indeed. Root indeed. Also know this entire project wasn't based around justification to use this weird looking frog model that I made in my free time. Why do you ask? Can AI make my game grosser? So, it was either this or a game that teaches philosophy directly. Like what? Anyway, I decided to simply ask YouTube's inspiration AI bot to help me with making a gross game, to which I realized, oh, this thing only spits out YouTube suggestions. So originally, the plan was to use ChatGPT, but then I decided to keep it in the family, if you will, and use Google's AI, which I had to Google. Apparently it's called Gemini. I asked Gemini to describe a gross game, and it gave me a rundown of Bean Boozled jelly beans. So I got more specific and asked Gemini to describe a gross video game. It then gave me a rundown of Dead Space, and not even the remake, the original 2008 version. Well, alright, I guess we're remaking Dead Space, the 2008 version. Okay, so maybe that prompt was too vague. I tried again with a more specific prompt, asking Gemini to roleplay as a game designer, and that they're tasked with making the grossest game ever, and to specifically include features. Thankfully this time, Gemini didn't just give me an existing game title, but the results also kind of reflect my opinion on AI, and that it's really not creative or inspiring at all. The more quote-unquote detailed response from Gemini feels like a typical boilerplate response with a quote-unquote gross Mad Lib word pack thrown in, Maybe I could refine the prompt even further, but at what point is my creativity simply carrying what is supposed to be the creative tool? And don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to intentionally bash AI here, or talk down to anyone who enjoys using AI. If anything, I'm actually just more disappointed in YouTube and Google, considering that this is their output quality, especially given their resources. Like, why not use all that data cultivated to improve the YouTube experience as a whole? Then again, given the quality of Gemini's output, maybe Google's AI system just isn't there yet. Or I'm just really bad with prompts, so maybe this growing apathy towards AI is just misguided. But from my end, I am far from impressed. And I think I'll just stick with the old school method of simply coming up with my own ideas for the time being. Because this AI thing it just ain't it. But that is just my opinion. I'm sure not everyone agrees, so whether you do or do not, feel free to share your thoughts in the comments, and hopefully we can all appreciate that we don't all think alike. Regardless, if you enjoyed the video, consider leaving a like. And also, since I didn't want to ruin the flow of today's video, a quick reminder that if you enjoy the content, supporting me on Patreon is the best way to help me keep making it. Doing so can get you access to exclusives and even early access to the weekly Dev Diary videos before they're released on YouTube. And finally, why not subscribe if you're new to the channel? With that said, brings us to the end of today's Dev Diary, so thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.